Hi everyone, Mike here with Kindly and LIFTFoils. So you just got your new LIFTX or Lift 5 and you're ready to go. First, we're gonna do a few things. If you wanna see an unboxing and setup video, there'll be a link in the description. The first thing you wanna do is you wanna make sure you read the manual. There's a QR code right here in the battery compartment, and there's a QR code in the propulsion case. Scan the QR code and go through the manual. There's a lot of great information on how to set up your board, how to inspect the battery, how to pair the controller. There's also some safety guidelines and procedure, which we'll cover here in this video. So you're at home and you wanna go out on your first day. I'd make sure that my battery is fully charged, and again, inspect it, right? You're at home, it's calm, there's no wind, there's no mess. You wanna make sure that your mechanism is clean, there's no sand on it. You wanna make sure that there's no cracks or that all of the seals look good. You wanna make sure that your connectors inside are nice and shiny, no sand, no water, no debris in there. Okay, same thing with the connectors here. And just take a look at your equipment. Just make sure there's no cracks on the board. Make sure that your hand controller is charged. The manual shows you how to do that. It'll tell you how much charge it has right here. Just take a look at that. So we're thinking about our equipment before we go out. That's what we want to do. So now we got in the car, we made it to the beach. We want to walk up to our location and we want to look at it. And we want to say, okay, where is a good point to come in and where is a good point to come out? We just want to make sure that this place is safe to ride before we set up our gear. We're looking for rocks, we're looking for bottles. We just wanna make sure that when you go in and out of the water, it's nice and easy and safe. We also wanna make sure that as we go away from the shore, that there's an area for you to ride. As a beginner, try to choose an area where you know that there's no people, when you know that there's not a lot of boat traffic, there's no rocks or anything that can hurt you or the machine. So you took a look at the location, you feel safe, you know you're gonna have fun. So let's put our gear together. If there's no place without sand, just do what I did here. I put the battery on the propulsion bag so it doesn't get sand in the connectors. We just wanna put the battery on and you're gonna click, click, click. It's gonna click on right here. We wanna make sure that that connection right there is nice and solid. We're just gonna easily click on our mast, make sure that connection is solid, and we're gonna click on our foil. Make sure that connection is nice and solid. You're gonna pair your remote, how the manual tells you to do. There's also a little cheat sheet in there. So take a look at that. All right, we're gonna go ride, but wait a second. We really need to think about what this thing can do to us, right? So we've talked about our environment. We're not gonna get here, we're gonna have fun where we're riding. But now we have this 70-pound object that's gonna be near us the whole time. This object also has a very sharp propeller, which by the way, anytime that this is on and this is on, it's live. It says it in the manual, right? You press this, that goes. How can the eFoil hurt us? If 70 pound hits us, it can hurt us seriously. So how do we avoid that? That's mostly gonna happen when you're already standing up. But let's talk about what to do so you don't get hurt. So you're standing up, you're riding along, you're at a comfortable speed, but you start to wobble and you feel like you're just gonna come off. Don't wait till the last minute and try to save it. Just bail out. Let go of the trigger and jump away from the board. A lot of people ask me, what's a good bailout? A good bailout is where you end up 5 to 10 feet away from the board the best way you can. If the board ain't there, you can't hit it. When bailing, always bail to the side or back of your board, never in front of it. If you bail to the front of your board while it is in motion, it will continue to move forward and can hit you, causing serious injury. Another thing to consider is the trigger. Again, if the battery's in and this is on and it's paired, this is live. So as you're swimming back to the board, be careful not to press this. If the board is aiming at you, you press this, it's gonna hit you. If the board is aiming at the dock and you press this, it's gonna hit the dock. So mind the trigger. As you approach the eFoil, the next thing that can hurt you is the foil. A lot of times, people are swimming and they're super excited. Did you see me fly? They're like beating their legs and they're swimming and they hit the back wing usually. And it's sharp and it is gonna cut you. So how do you avoid that? You're gonna wanna keep your feet behind you near the surface. If your feet are not there, they cannot get cut. So quick review, let go of the trigger, jump away, careful with the trigger, swim back, feet behind you, get on the board. We're safe from the board. So now we're safe from the environment, we're safe from the board. So to be able to operate the eFoil, we're gonna wanna learn how to ride it 3 ways. We wanna ride it on your belly, we wanna ride it on your knees, and we wanna ride it standing up. As a beginner, you wanna do all of those 3 things without leaving the surface of the water. There is zero need for you to go from 0 to hero on the first day. I'm gonna show you each position, and it's super important that you note my position on the board and how we move on this eFoil. As you look at this, we have sand all over. We definitely don't want to get sand in our connectors. We have connectors here, we have connectors in the battery, we have metal levers here, and you want to try to keep all of the sand and debris away from our connectors. So I've set up the eFoil here on the sand so I can demonstrate to you the 3 positions. First position is going to be on your belly. When you get on your belly on the eFoil, you're going to turn on your remote. I always turn on my remote once I'm operating the eFoil. Turn on my remote, it's going to connect to the board, then adjust the speed setting on the remote. Your remote has a range of speed settings, so make sure to set it to a lower speed setting for your first ride. Pick a speed that's going to allow you to go as slow as possible, but fast enough to have control, okay? Let's say we're at 3, and I'm going to go all the way on the trigger. When I pull the trigger in the whole way, my nose is going to come up. It's going to want to come up on me because the motor starts to go and it pitches the nose up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my body forward, my weight, okay? By doing this, I keep the board flat. You want to keep the board flat, all right? That's key. You want to keep the board flat on your belly, on your knees, and when you're standing up. Okay, we want that thrust to be pointed straight forward, not up. This is not a rocket. We're going to ride on our bellies until we're bored. When you're bored, it means that your body has kind of assimilated everything that's going on. If you feel that you're nervous, don't push yourself to go to the next position. Once you feel confident riding on your belly, move into the second position. I'm not letting go of the trigger. When's the only time you let go of the trigger? When you're gonna bail out. So don't let go of the trigger. We're moving fast enough to have control. We're ready to go on our knees. This is what I do. I'm gonna look down and look for my belly button, and that's gonna raise my hips. When I raise my hips, I'm gonna gently walk, not scratch. I'm gonna gently walk my knees up to where the knees go. The knees go wherever it allows you to keep the board flat when your hips are forward and your shoulders are back. So I call this posture, posture, posture. So on the Lift 549, it's about here, right at the top of the handles, okay? If it's different for you, move forward or move back, but you definitely want to have your hips, your center of gravity over this point right here. So now we're riding on our knees on the surface of the water as slow as possible, but fast enough to have control. And again, we're going to ride long enough so that we're kind of bored. You will naturally know how to turn. You're either going to lean to one side, lean to the other. Riding an eFoil is pretty easy. All we're doing here is making sure that you're safe and you have fun. So stay on your knees until you're ready to stand up. So now I'm ready to stand up. Most people are regular, I'm goofy, so I'm going to demonstrate regular. To stand up, we're going to put both of our hands on the top of the black pad. And as we do this, and this is the first time we're going to talk about this, but you got to consider this the whole time you're handling the remote. We cannot be smashing the remote against the board as we're operating the eFoil. This is our connection to the board, and it's super important for safety that you maintain the integrity of the remote. Hand at the top of the pad, hand at the top of the pad on both sides. Now what I like to do here is I like to move my knees back so that I get a wider base and it's easier for me to move myself around and control pitch. Remember, we're going to use our hips and body weight to control the pitch. If the board's coming up on you, lean forward. If the board's sinking on you, lean back. I'm going to throw my front foot up first, but you can use your back foot as well. Left foot goes to the left hand. And I bring this one over, and if you notice, my back knee is basically near where the back foot is going to go. Still holding on to the trigger, okay? Using my hips to keep the board flat. Your back foot, I say, must come to the middle of the handle. For me, this is the safest spot where you can put that back foot. I'm gonna walk it there. It's at the middle of the handle, my heel's at the center line, my toes at the center line, and I stand up slowly. I'm standing up, riding the eFoil on the surface of the water at a slow enough speed to have control. A lot of people ask me about the offset stance. An inland stance on an eFoil, in my opinion, is extremely dangerous and is only for pro advanced riders. Anytime you operate the eFoil with your back foot behind the back part of the handle, that is also for pros and advanced athletes, and this is also extremely dangerous. For beginners, your back foot is at the middle of the handle, your heels on the center line, toes on the center line, and your front foot is offside towards the front of the board. We're gonna ride like this for as long as possible. When you get bored, the next step is gonna be to increase your speed. Your goal is to always keep the board on the water, keep the nose touching the water, and keep the board flat. If the board's starting to come up on you and you're starting to go too fast and you're starting to feel anxiety, you're probably going too fast, go back down to speed. So you're going around on the surface of the water, finger on the trigger, we're not falling anymore, we're having fun, and you feel like you're ready to fly. All you need to start to separate the eFoil out of the water is a little bit more speed and to shift your weight back. The way that I like to do that is I like to move back 1/4 to 1/2 inch at a time. So I'm just gonna shift my weight back. As I shift my weight back on the board, you will feel the foil activate. Only when you get comfortable with that new feeling do you keep going back. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, move back, okay? And you're gonna start to feel the foil. Remember, we're riding the foil, not the board. An exercise that I like to do is to pump. If you've seen the foilers that are on the waves, they're pumping to get to the next wave. So you can do that on an eFoil. And what you're doing here is you're actuating, you're moving the foil up and down, and it gives you feedback. You can start to feel the foil through your legs, right? As you're pumping, put your mind on the foil, because that's what we're gonna ride. You're going at a good enough speed, and you shift it back 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Be safe, go easy. Super important for safety. Every inch that you go above the water, it gets exponentially more dangerous when you're a beginner. So always try to stay close to the surface of the water when you're learning how to fly at first. Over the surface of the water, a couple of inches, and just pump, okay? Now we're gonna start doing little touch and goes. So you wanna separate from the water about 1 to 2 inches. Anything higher than that for a beginner is extremely dangerous. So keep it low to the water, and that keeps you safe. Eventually, you're gonna get towards the back part of the handle, and that's where, as a beginner, you should be flying. Any operations, inline stance or behind the handle, in my opinion, are extremely dangerous. That's not for beginners. Keep your stance around here, right? Offset, heel to toe, and near the handles, and you should be safe. If you ever get yourself in a situation where you're back here, you're gonna get out of control quick, let go of the trigger, jump away from the board the best you can. Now that you know the basic safety points and have a plan to move through the 3 positions, let's get ready to go in the water. I brought all my gear to the edge of the water with the battery on. If you have a long walk, definitely want to bring your board first, set it on the edge of the water, and then grab your battery, clip it in. Clip, 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 ready to go. I'm gonna start press and hold to turn on the battery. I got my blue lights. Press and hold for the remote. We're gonna hold the hand controller just on top of the battery latch right there, and you'll get a green check mark, and it says you're ready to go. We're gonna check our prop. Everybody clear? It's good to go. First, make sure the controller is off. Then, pick up the board with one hand on the board's handle and the other hand on the mast. Be very careful to ensure all parts of the board have plenty of space, as they can be dangerous to yourself or others if not handled properly. Take the board to the point where you want to enter the water, and scan the water for swimmers, obstacles, or other watercraft. If it's clear, check one last time to make sure the battery is fully seated in the board, and carry the board into the water. Once in the water, slowly flip the board upside down, being very careful to make sure the wing, tail, and mast don't hit you or your head. You can then climb onto the board on your belly and swim out until the water is deep enough. Stay away from any obstacles like rocks or debris. Once you are at a safe depth, slide off your board and flip it over, allowing for plenty of room for the wing and tail to safely flip into the water. Then climb onto the board. Now you are ready to turn on the controller at the lower setting and start working your way through the different riding positions. you are finished riding, head towards a safe point on the shore where you can exit the water, being careful to look for swimmers, debris, and other watercraft. As you get close, make sure the controller is turned off and follow the steps in the reverse order to get out of the water and safely back onto shore. Okay, I'm done riding. I've safely exited the water and I set my board down on the edge of the water. The first thing I want to do is I want to get dry. I want to make sure I don't get any salt water on any part of the battery. Make sure this is off, make sure my controller is off. If you have fresh water at the beach, that's great. Make sure you get some fresh water on top of the board, underneath the board, and in all of the connections. When you disconnect the battery, make sure there's no sand or any debris anywhere in the connections. I'm gonna clip, disconnect the battery, same way as you came in. I'll grab the battery, walk it to a safe place, not in the sun, put it there, and then come get my board. You're gonna pack your board away in your bag, and when you get home, grab your fresh water, take the board out again, and just make sure it's all dry and clean with no debris anywhere on the board. So we went over everything you need to know about going out on your eFoil for the first time. Stay safe, have fun, see you on the water.